Welcome to Chris Horner's Corner. In today's edition, I want to talk about where you should be spending your money at if you want to become a better cyclist in the future. Maybe you want to race the Grand Fondos weekend race. Maybe you want to go do the Tour de France. Whatever it is, you want to become better, right? That's why you're tuning into the channel, to learn some of the techniques and learn how you can get better. The last two videos, I did intervals, covered interval training, and my belief that they are not really needed. Then I covered altitude training, and yes, guys, I did say there's some facts out there that altitude training does have an effect on the body, but I also said I never did altitude training and still won a Grand Tour. All of it's facts. But in today's edition, I want to cover about where you want to spend your money at. Because when we start looking at cycling world in general, I seen just recently in Cycling News in one of their articles where they talked about a $7,000 skin suit. Okay, you start mixing that with spending 3 weeks or a month at altitude training, all of a sudden the budget can get exploded. If you're a young kid like I was back in the day, I was living off of an incredibly tight budget, and at one point in time I'm training to the group ride and I got a flat. Buddy of mine who I know very, very well, he's been a friend of mine for the last 35 years, rides up next to me as he comes from behind where he's going to meet the group ride, comes up to me and sees me fixing the tire on my bike. And he sees me putting in a boot in the tire because the tire is so worn down that it's starting to get holes in there. And he looks at me and he says, "Chris, why don't you just buy a new tire?" I'm down there changing my back tire there and I look up at him and I go, "Wow, that's a great idea. Why don't I just buy a new tire?" Guys, I was too broke to buy a new tire. When I start looking at all of the new technology coming out there and the bikes costing $15,000, skin suits costing $7,000, it gets a little ridiculous. The amount of savings can't be that good. Now, when I was down in San Diego, California this last winter, I was doing the Swami's ride. There's 75 riders out on the Swami's ride, and eventually it comes down to 4 riders in the front. It's myself and 3 others, and we're driving it on the front. Guys, on that Saturday ride, I was riding my Specialized Tarmac, and it has normal rim brakes, and the bike is probably a 2015 or 2017 at the newest, and I'm at the front of the group still. Okay, it has 11 speed, not even 12 speed on it. It has 44 centimeter bars. Today they're telling you you got to ride 22 centimeter bars. Guys, I got 44 centimeter bars on my bike. I'm riding a bike that you can buy on Craigslist or you can buy there at eBay for probably about $4,000 maybe is the value of my bike. Tops. Somebody probably only want to give me a couple grand for it, and I'm in the front group when there's 75 riders meeting up on that Saturday ride, and there's only 4 of us. Now, you want to go a little bit deeper. Well, I'm 52 years of age, and I'm still in the front group, and I haven't done altitude training. I don't wear a $7,000 skin suit. Now, to be fair, no one on the ride had a $7,000 skin suit, but don't even get me started on the tall socks. They want you to believe that the tall socks are going to make you faster because of the compression on your calf is doing something amazing. Guys, the taller sock's not going to make you any faster. I ride 1 inch tall socks, and the only time I got tall socks on is because it's cold out. If it's cold, you put taller socks on because it keeps your ankles and your Achilles heels warmer so you don't pull your Achilles heel and have a tendon problem. That's why I wear taller socks. Other guys are wearing taller socks to think that they're more aerodynamic or maybe it looks better. I don't know what it is, but when you pull the sock off with a tan line like that, when I was a kid, you get beat up at school. So I wear shorty socks because less material means less weight. Of course, more material means you're going to be warmer, so in the wintertime when it's cold, I put taller socks on, especially if I'm wearing leg warmers and stuff. But when you start looking at all of the details out there, where I see a new pedal's coming out that's saving you 8 watts, a pedal that's going to save you 8 watts, that's not possible. I don't know if they put an engine inside that pedal where it's going to help turn your cranks around in a circle, but a pedal saving you 8 watts, that is ridiculous to think. Now, I remember one story, I go back and I was riding for Trek and they wanted me to do some commercials for them. And they had a new Trek Madone. I can't remember, maybe the Trek Madone 7 was coming out. I was riding the 6.9. I thought it was a beautiful bike. When the 7 came out, they had me come and doing the commercial and they wanted me to say it had 25 watts of gain you would have with this new bike. I looked over at the Trek official. I said, "I'm not going to say it saves you 25 watts. Let me get this straight. You want me to say in a commercial that your bike is 25 watts faster than your 6.9? I looked at the Trek official and I said, if it's 25 watts faster, I'll win the Tour de France. I could have won the Tour de France with probably 10 watts more at that particular time of my career. 25 watts and I would have won it and been winning by 20 minutes or 30 minutes or something. The difference is massive. And a pedal that will save you 8, ridiculous. A skin suit that you have to spend $7,000 on, there's no way that that skin suit could be that much faster to where you'd want to buy that to go win your local individual time trial. Now, if you're one of the Pro Tour riders out there, could it save you a 1/4 of a watt or something like that? Maybe. Could the 22 bars really save you some time? I don't think so. Either that or I got some big time problems, because at 44 centimeters, man, when I was on the group ride there over the winter time on the Swamis, guys, with 44 centimeter bars, maybe I need to come out of retirement and get back to the Tour de France and just put some 22 millimeter bars, because what it's looking like when you read all the data out there, if I get a new bike, that's going to save me 25 watts. If I get these new pedals, wow, 8 watts saved right there. Put this skin suit on. They didn't actually say how much watts that'd save you, but must assume that it's going to save you something for $7,000. Then if I put some tall socks on, guys, I can come off the podium bench right here on Chris Horner's Corner and win you the Tour de France if I just update all my equipment from 2015 with my Specialized tarmac. I mean, it's kind of ridiculous. You have to look at this stuff and then start taking in what's important, the most important things. And when I was brought up the last 2 videos with intervals and with altitude training, I wanted to get to this video here where I can try to tell you the most important thing that I believe. Nothing more will beat riding your bike as much as you can, not having to work a 9-to-5 job as little as you can, or avoid it as much as you can. And of course, stretching, diet, those few things, training, stretching, diet, sleep, recovery, those are the most important things you have to focus on. Those will make 25 watts of gain. Altitude training, intervals, $7,000 skin suits, and brand new pedals that get you 8 watts and 22 millimeter bars, that stuff's all ridiculous. Could it save you a 1/4 of a watt somewhere? Possibly. But if you want 25 watts savings, you want 50 watts gain in your training, the only thing that's going to make that happen is hard work, dedication, and a focus to being the best professional cyclist you possibly can. That's when you start seeing 25 watt gains. A new bike, okay, I agree. It could be a little bit of a motivation factor in terms of riding a little bit more and getting out on your bike and doing a little bit longer because you just bought a new bike. But is it really going to be faster over something from the past? Maybe a tiny bit of gain here or there when you start talking about the wheels and the position the bike puts you in. But in general, guys, it's not going to be as huge of a difference as what focusing on not having to work as much right before your main event's coming up. So instead of doing an altitude training camp and spending $20,000 to go up there, or buying yourself a new set of pedals that'll save you 8 watts, focus on right when you're getting into your main fitness area, when you want to come to your main objective, whether if it's the Grand Fondo or the Tour de France. It's the weeks leading up to that event which are the most important. Throughout my career, whenever I was training guys and talking with guys throughout the 25 years of professional and the 10 years since then, I've talked to many guys when they're training and they start getting really fitted about 3 weeks as they're coming up to their objective. And then what happens is they do their objective ride and they just shut it down and they stop after that. What I'd like to see actually is when you start getting that 3-week window, you do your objective and then you keep the training going a little bit longer so you could feel the real benefits. Because maybe you came into your objective, you had a bad morning, you didn't eat right, you had a bad race, you didn't ride it tactically very intelligently. So maybe you need another event coming up that you can redo, because maybe you just messed up that Saturday ride and didn't get to see the big benefits. So whenever you're looking at all these information that people are telling you, there's no way you can gain 25 watts with a brand new bike, assuming you got something in this century. It just can't happen. You can go on Craigslist, eBay, buy yourself a used bike with full durace that somebody never rode that's been sitting up in their garage. That bike will be fine and it'll save you about $10,000. Now, like I said, a new bike would be nice. Maybe one of these days I'll get around to it, but I've been buying more KTM motorcycles lately than I have bicycles because I know my Specialized tarmac will get the job done, even with the 44 centimeter bars and the 1-inch socks. Make sure you guys like and subscribe. I'll bring you some more stuff in the near future. See you then.